Hey guys, welcome to SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors. Joined today for the second time by Olly Stone here, who is now, was it first time you came in, Olly? You were
crew chief, I think.
Crew chief of
Gas.
Troy Lee Gas,
Yeah,
Gas,
that's right.
Red Bull Gas, and now you are team manager, or is it a higher title?
Team manager.
Team manager
and all-rounder.
MX6 Racing, correct?
Yeah.
So the team came about partway through last year, right?
That's correct. Yeah, so I didn't really know of the team as such during last summer, but the team came around. I think they started racing at the first round of the Nationals last summer and kind of grew over the summer itself with acquiring more riders, and some people jumped on board, and it grew and got bigger as the season went on.
Yeah, I remember when I heard the name, for some reason I thought it was like a visiting team from Europe.
It could be, yeah.
You think MX6 or you think MX2, EMX and all that, but kind of a unique name. But like, how did your role there as team manager come about?
So I think the owner of the team wanted just to expand, and they were switching manufacturers, going to Cowie, using Showa suspension and things like that. And then I believe, like anything, a bunch of names got thrown around. And I had a mutual friend with one of the guys that was working on the team at the time. So I think my name got dropped into the mix. And then after a couple phone calls, a couple little bit of discussions, and the opportunity came around, and it was almost like a position that was too good to be true for me. Just something that I could jump into, sink my teeth into it, just build something from almost zero. I know they had that the last summer, just to figure it out and figure out the direction that they wanted to go, but then it was all in with a full setup for Supercross this season.
So it was kind of a convenient
you could
position,
say that,
right? Because the Gas team went away.
Yeah, so like I lost the position at Gas when that ended, as a lot of us did. Everyone kind of found positions. I did some in-house stuff for Mitch back at PC for the summer last year, but my heart was in racing and being on the road.
Okay, that's crazy. You like being on the road.
Well, okay, let me tell your viewers, I love the racing aspect. I love being at the races. I like building for the races, and getting to the races is cool, but you know what it's like. Getting home from getting home from the races and being exhausted on Sundays, and waking up Monday morning, you feel like you got a hangover, but you're actually just running on a lack of sleep. So for me, I'd say being on the road, it's more like being at the races, like when the gate drops.
The travel part, getting there sucks.
The travel does suck. I mean, everyone says it, and unfortunately it's part of the job, and that's the sacrifice that you're going to make to be at the races. For me, I wasn't done going to all the races. I still have a lot of passion for it. I'm still into it, just making things better during the week and seeing how you perform on the weekend. Like, it was almost, for me, I was forced to leave the racing aspect of it with the team closing down. It wasn't my choice, you know. So I wasn't ready to just stop going to the races. I wasn't at peace with it. So an opportunity to come back to the races and do it full time again, I was like, I'm in this.
What is it like? So there's you see the same group of people in different cities, you know, being on the road all the time. Like, you know, we had a guy that used to like to go to every single race, right? And I was like, dude, you must not like your wife or something. Like, he knows, like he thought that the races couldn't happen if he wasn't there or something.
I've been there. I mean, you feel like you have FOMO if you're missing out, right? So the years at Gas, we would do 31 races because we did 450s with Justin. And previous years when I was like a mechanic in the day, we'd do west or east. So it kind of helped the burnout because you were at like 21 or 24 races at the time. But when you do a full 31, I remember a couple of years Justin got hurt later in the season and we missed 3 or 4, and it was like a breath of fresh air, to be honest, because you just get recharged. And that's kind of the position we're at right now. We've just done High Point, so we've got a weekend off going into Redbud. So it's so wide open that you need to take the time to recharge a little bit. Otherwise, you just can't make it to the end anymore.
So people on a race team, the supporting cast, you know, not the racers or whatnot, but like it's like there's no break because you travel the race, travel home, and it's not like the race team boss goes, take one day off, don't do anything. The riders are training or something, and you guys are back at work.
I mean, we're at the hands of mercy of the riders. If they want to ride 4 or 5 days a week, we're going to have to accommodate them. Thankfully, this stage of the season, no one's really doing that. But it is tough to balance burnout and travel, and just, you've got to love it, because you end up putting every day into it, no matter what. Whether you want to take a day off, you don't have that option. Like going into this weekend, when I say we have a weekend off, I just say it's a weekend without racing, because we're still work. I mean, I'll make sure the boys take Saturday, Sunday, maybe Friday this weekend, just because I've been in that position where you just get burnt out, and we've got more races now than what we ever had. So you got to pace it out a little bit and just be accommodating.
Okay, so MX6, give me the story on the team. Who's it owned by? Why was it launched?
Okay, so I think it was just a hobby thing in the beginning by a guy out in New York called Chris. MX6 was his racing number. The 6 was his number, so that's how it came from the team. He wanted to help some people in his local area in New York just to get to the races, help them with gas money, or gave them gas, provide them with bikes and parts. So he was a racer himself, but not at a pro level, just an area racer at a successful construction company, and then retired and wanted to put some love back into the sport. So it helped a lot of people.
Kind of team
I mean, it's rare, right, that comes around. So it kind of grew. He started to help more and more people, and then the team came about, and then he was like, I want a legit Supercross team. So
he dipped his toe in the waters last summer, and this year he's like, we got to go legit.
Yeah, so he went from like 0 to 100 real quick. So like we had the semi, we got the shop, we got the test track. Our guys were good. We had some top 5s this season. It's just putting the whole program together. So he is all in. So it's cool.
This mysterious Chris in New York. What's his last name? Or like, how did he build his fortune? Did he own?
He was a construction guy from all accounts in New York, and he runs this non-profit that helps underprivileged children go camping and hunting and fishing and things like that too. So there's a good like giving back to not just motocross, but just unfortunate children also out there. So it's called the Sons of Our Fathers. So it's a non-profit that also.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. So that's a non-profit. Yeah, it's here on the sleeve. So that helps people in all aspects of life too. But he's also fortunate enough to be able to run the race team and support that too. So it's just best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously there's team sponsors and stuff that offset costs and stuff, but like if you just round it up and gave me a big number, what does it cost to put a team on the road?
Too much.
Too
much. Yeah, I mean, you got to really love the racing to do it at this level. Like we don't have factory support, we don't have manufacturer support. We're doing everything independently.
Buying bikes.
Yep. I have a lot of good sponsors and a lot of good people in the industry that I've grown relationships with over the years. And I even spoke to some of them before I took this position and was like, hey, if I did this, what kind of support would I be able to get? And everyone just backed the team and myself.
Yeah.
So that was
on
really
on
cool.
reputation alone.
Yeah. Which is it's not a risk, but it is a risk if you look at that. Like it put a lot of pressure on my shoulders because I need to make this work. I have to prove it because I cannot let these people down that believed in me.
Yeah.
So it's been stressful. And there's been a lot of pressure, but everyone seems to be really happy with it. Everyone that supported the team are really invested, and they just say good things. So we're still chipping away, and we can always be better, but we're going in the right direction.
Cool. Olly, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Back for more.
I'm Eli Tomac, and I choose OGL.
I'm Cooper Webb.
I'm Malcolm Stewart.
RJ Hampshire.
I'm Josh Moda, and I choose Ojo.
I'm Aaron Plessinger.
What's up, guys? I'm Hunter Lawrence.
My name's Jet Lawrence. I'm Hayden Deegan, and I choose OGO.
Everyone, welcome back to the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors, here with Olly Stone. So how good did it make you feel that on your reputation people said, oh, we'll back the team, we'll do this? Because like I know when we lost Transworld Motocross, my team, we started Swap Moto Live,
Yeah.
we made some calls and people were in right from the get-go. And that was so humbling to me. And like I sat there one night with my wife at dinner, I was almost crying like, dude, all these people are backing us just on what I've done in the past. So I mean, you're obviously a man in the same situation with a great reputation.
Yeah.
Had to feel good.
Yeah, it did feel good. It's humbling. It almost like brings a tear to your eye, right? Because you don't do it for that reason.
Yeah.
You try and put your best foot forward, be honest, and just be humble, I think. And it takes a long time. Like, you're at Transworld for a long time also, and I've been in the States for a while and just grafting. So it takes time. I mean, you got to treat everyone the way you expect them to treat you. And just build these reputations. And at my time of need, they pulled through. So I really appreciate the industry for that.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, by all accounts, I mean, I'm assuming you and your team owner have to be pumped on the way Supercross went. I thought things went great for a brand new team with the riders that you were able to get and everything. So sum that up. Like, were you really proud of the effort?
I was proud of the effort from the whole team. Do I want more? Yes, because that's how driven I am. And
You've
you
been on
know
teams that
that.
won titles,
Yeah, exactly. One races, won titles and things like that. So you just got to keep it in perspective. Could we get there one day? Absolutely. But it's going to take a long time. But when I came in, the crew was already there. The riders were already there. Like, I was the last person to join the program. So it was up to me to learn everyone, the personalities, put the pieces of the puzzles together and bring in some equipment that I think was going to work and just get to work testing. Like everything, it didn't start out the best. The results weren't what I expected for the money and the work that was being put in at the time. But we just chipped away and tried to make little improvements every week. And it did show in some of our results. Like, we've got some older guys in the industry in the 250 class who were consistently in the top 10 and some top 5s too. So we were battling for the positions, I think, that were above where our expectations were.
Yeah.
So for that, I was pretty happy. Like, we grew the crew, we started working together. It's just it's a massive program that you take for granted if you went into a fully functioning team that's been around for a while. You just put one person in and they just figure it out, right?
Every team you've worked for has been at the very top.
Yes, exactly. So it was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, but I think like I said, we're going in the right direction.
Yeah. So like, you're used to going into the Troy Lee rig that has all this food and everything. It's like, do you walk into MX6 and there's like cup of noodles?
No, yeah, not quite. No, you could think that. I mean, no, we do catering when we need to. Like, we're doing it the right way, and that was one of the reasons when I took the position. It was like, what's the 3-year plan? What's the 5-year plan? Or the expectations of the owner. So for me, he wanted to be successful. He wanted to grow this team. So it was a really good project for me to sink my teeth into. So we have a realistic budget and equipment is good, and we can just keep working our way to where we need to be. But the rig's good. We have more parts than what we need to also. So we're doing okay, but I have to be humble because, being on a factory level and you just throw stuff at it.
Oh yeah.
And you just have no disregard. You're just like, oh, you use those throw cables 1 week, throw them away. But now I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We've got to use these for a few weeks, and then you got to keep them for your practice bike and really get your time out of it.
Yeah.
It's just being smart with that.
Olly, how hard in the 250 class at this level is it to build a competitive bike against, say,
very hard. It's just ongoing. The bigger the budget you have, the better it can be, or the faster you can work. But then your hands are tied with resources and getting things made, and lead times, and construction costs, and materials, and it's just ongoing. I think the successful teams, like obviously Mitch, and they've had years and years of experience, and they just keep rolling the technology over, and they've already got the connections and the products and things like that. So I kind of started from scratch, so it was just an uphill battle.
Yeah. So is it also, there's the give and take, right? Like, can make it this fast, but we got to rebuild it every time.
Absolutely. And
balancing.
something at my level, like in the old days, we would rip motors down every week, and it's just not physically possible or affordable to ship motors back and forth from the East Coast every weekend. No one builds engines on the semis anymore. They get dynoed and things like that. So there's a fine line, because you don't want to be pushing bikes off the track because you push the envelope too much. So it's being reliable and performance is a fine balance. So I think where we're at, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. So that is for a guy like you is invaluable, right? You come with all this experience
Yeah.
at that level, and you know it's from practice bikes you maintain, everything you did. Were you pumped that they went with Cowies?
That-
because you have experience with that?
I mean, they were Yamahas before, and I never worked on a Yamaha, so I was kind of excited to go over and just see what that was all about. There, the decision to go to Cowie was made before I even came on board. So it was just, I would have worked with any manufacturer because I still jumped at the opportunity. So they're all similar in aspects, but they're obviously also different. But it's just the process is the same of just working through it. But Cowies, I know. I worked on Cowies for a long time, and I also I know that the part numbers from the old bikes that works on the new bikes, and just the generation change, and just, hey, back in 2014 we used this part, and it is what it was, and it seems to be working out.
Yeah. Okay, talk about the job responsibility differences, greater responsibility, going from tuner to crew chief to now team manager.
Okay, so yeah, now I do a bit of everything, and I wear a lot of hats because it's a smaller team
Small
too.
team, yeah.
But there's also, even on those factory teams, there's a lot of overlap. Communication is a key, so everyone needs to be involved. I don't really have a crew chief right now, so I'm kind of doing both. So I'm managing and crew chiefing, but that was what I was good at TOD, like engine rotations and just upkeep on hours and parts and things like that. But also now I have to deal with riders, gear, helmets, flights, hotels, just oversee all that stuff, teamwear.
Yeah.
It was a lot of firsts for me this year. Not that I've done it before, I was a part of things like that before, but it's just everything that came into it, I was like, wow, this is actually more than what I...
Is it overwhelming sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This past winter, there was a lot of long days. More admin stuff, like I don't work on the bikes as such anymore. I do some harnesses and build some electrical components because I still like to do that. I swapped a frame a couple months ago because one of the mechanics had gone home, and I saw that there was a little problem, so I switched it out myself. But that was kind of fun. It's humbling too.
Yeah.
I think it builds respect within the team if they see the team manager swapping a frame or working on a bike with them
Yeah,
too.
and then they have to know that the team manager's better at it than they probably are.
I wouldn't say better anymore, but experienced, put it that way.
Are the
So-
hands nicer these days?
The hands are too soft. Yeah, the hands. At least the nails are clean, because you know it's like when you're a mechanic, everything gets pretty dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take one more quick break. We'll be back for more with Olly Stone. Guys, welcome back to the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors. Once again here with Olly Stone, team manager of MX6 Racing. How much of the rider interaction do you have? Like, obviously team manager, right? So
Yeah.
you're probably the one cracking the whip and everything, but...
Yeah, I am the one cracking the whip. I get quite emotional because, I mean, sometimes you can see them doing mistakes and it's just like, come on, dude, just fix it yourself, right?
Yeah.
But it's up to me, yeah, looking at lap times and splits and things like that. And I always would before when I was at TOD, just picking it apart, trying to help them with line choice, and just overall just be better as the races go on.
Yeah.
I can't do it for them. You can only point them in the right direction and try and help them the best you can. But at the end of the day, sometimes, yeah, the guys are going to figure it out themselves or they're not.
Mm-hmm. What's it like working with this caliber rider versus factory rider caliber?
It doesn't make a difference to me. A rider's a rider at the end of the day.
But I mean, is it easier to
Yes and
offer
no.
some insight and they're like, oh, wow.
Yes and no. I say, like, everyone's got their own personalities. Like, sometimes for me, I wouldn't speak up until I would have like a definite answer, or be like, hey, I can prove this line is faster because it's on the stopwatch. So I wouldn't really speak up unless I had something to share. Yeah, the riders that I worked for in the past, and you would bring something up and they would do it, and it would help them. But with these guys, no, these guys respected me from the beginning, actually, and then we just started working away and it clicked. So it showed with the progress in Supercross, I think. But I've got a good group of guys behind the scenes too, with like a lot of experience. So everyone's working well together, and they can all have their little input, and I just think it makes it bigger as a whole. Like, there's no I in team, right? So I can't just bring everything to the table myself. I've got to rely on the others just to elevate the whole program.
How early in the season does scouting for next year's riders start
I think
out?
most of them are already locked in. I mean, we've only done 4 rounds of motocross, so that's a hot topic right now. Obviously, we want to grow the team and get some better caliber riders in there and things like that. So, I mean, we're not getting champions yet, past champions. That's a few years away. But I want to elevate the program and bring some more, some higher caliber, like you said, in, and just level up. I think we have the program that we can be able to do that, and the bike and the structure. So we're just going to keep going and see what happens.
Yeah. So you guys are completely private.
Yes.
So your owners bought the Kawasaki's. Would changing next year be a hassle because of all the parts and everything you're investing in?
Changing, we had that discussion too. Changing next year would be a lot of work. We have a lot of inventory of Cowies and parts and even sponsorship product, right? So the people at home know, like, when we build practice bikes for next year, you use a lot of your carryover race parts. So for me to start this program this year, I was ordering like 50 sets of wheels because I needed wheels for practice bikes, race rotation, and then the summer comes, you retire your Supercross wheels, and like even with exhausts and clamps and everything like that. To start from zero, it was a big outtake. There was a lot of parts that came into the shop. But moving into like 2027, all those parts that we raced with this year, like the wheels and exhausts and things like that, clamps, can rotate into practice bikes. So we'll be on a third of the amount of parts for next year than we were this year, just because you'll keep that for racing and move forward that way.
Yeah. So you talked earlier about all different components of the team and stuff. Who handles the team's social media?
Actually,
is there a social media person?
Yeah, we subcontracted it to a social media agency.
Okay, I was gonna give you props on that. I like the way they do the recap every week, and it's got the picture of you looking all stylish.
No, I'm already and the
pissed
words.
Off.
Yeah,
but I like how they put the words on the picture because people are more apt to read that than the caption.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I wanted to bring to the program from the beginning. It was one of the aspects, just to grow it. Like, we could be out there doing awesome results, but no one's even heard of us because we weren't marketing ourselves. And I think that's just as important these days as results, especially for the growth of the team and to bring some more sponsorship in and just have more eyes on us. I think we wouldn't have got the credit of our success in Supercross if we hadn't had that social media platform.
Yeah, it's good.
So that was an important thing that we wanted to do from the beginning. And a lot of people have commented on it, honestly. A lot of industry people, yourself, just even sponsors are really happy with the pictures and just the way everything's portrayed. So yeah, that one's that one was good.
You want to give them a quick little bitch slap? I caught a typo.
Oh, you did? Was it from me? Was it
no,
one of my? Was it one of my things?
It was the caption in
the
picture.
It was.
They apostrophed a plural.
Now you're just picking hairs. Well,
no, I'm just saying, man. If you're gonna do it,
I'll give them a pay cut. I'll have to cut their pay for doing it.
Nice. So we're just off of round 4.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Derek Kelly got hurt. Sounds like.
Yep.
What are the expectations? How pleased are you with how the team's worked this far, and where do you think they can go the rest?
It's been a tough summer so far. Henry got hurt before the beginning of the season, so we lost him. Then we had Derek and Marshall flying the flag, and now Derek got hurt this past weekend. The results been where I want them to be? No. We're just scraping by with points right now, which is not where anyone wants to be. But if you look at the field, it's so deep. There's so many good riders and so many good bikes out there also. It's just, it depends on the start, or it depends on the intensity, and it just depends on if you click with the track that day too. Could it be better? Yes. Has it been terrible? No, not really. We just got to be there every week and just keep building the program. Obviously, Derek's hurt, so he's probably going to be out for 8 to 12.
Yeah.
He had to have some surgery on his humerus.
That's a long time.
Yeah, we know how long those can take, and they kind of fillet you open to put a plate in there. So, yeah, I've had every challenge possible this season for the first year. So
fill-ins?
It's being spoken about right now. Spoke to the owner this morning. I'll speak to him again tomorrow. He's back in New York right now. It's hard when it's if we can give someone that's capable the right opportunity, I think it's definitely justified. We don't have a contract with a manufacturer that forces us to do it. Yeah. But again, my way is if the semi's going to the race for one bike, you might as well try and have 2 or 3 on the track. Henry's scheduled to come back soon. He's going to ride again this week, but you just never know until they ride the bike the first day. Yeah. You can't put a timeline out or a date of when to ride until he's ridden, recovered. You know what it's like with injuries. Sometimes it's like how long is a piece of string? You just don't know. Yeah.
If you took at this level to have a rider come in and fill in, like sometimes people are like, oh, you're filling in, but you're not getting paid. Well, it's like it costs X number of dollars to even get that guy there. Yeah. Feed him, support him, and then he's riding the bike and putting wear and tear on it, entries and everything. Like if there was just a quick dollar amount to put a fill-in guy in for one race, what would it be?
I'd have to go look. I'd have to look back at what some of the other teams do. I mean, some teams would be, can give travel accommodation, a few $1,000s to help get them to the race. It's an expensive time to do that also, because you know yourself, travel's not cheap. Yes. Diesel, hotels, airlines, like it was a bad year to actually start a race team, I think. But when is there ever a good year? Because it's only going to get more expensive in the future. Exactly. So, yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of challenges right now. I would like a fill-in for sure, just to make it worthwhile, even if someone can finish the rest of the season on motocross. Yeah, I mean, you got Australia, you got Europe, but all the good people that you would want to take are already locked into contracts. Yeah. If my boss wants to give someone an opportunity, then yeah, we'll be all for it. We have the equipment. It's no point it just sat in the shop doing nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Ollie, we're out of time, but thanks for coming in again.
No problem.
It's always a pleasure. I really can't believe I haven't run into you in Corona since we both live in Corona.
I've seen you on the freeway a couple times.
Well, you see the van.
Yeah, I see the van. That's why, because it sticks out. But I've never bumped into you in a grocery store or anything like that. I know, but I see you in passing.
It's crazy. I see Chicken like every other week.
Oh yeah, I used to. Yeah. But he's got more time on his hands. I'm either in the shop or an airport.
That's true. Anyway, hey, congrats on the success of the team.
Thank you.
Everything looks fantastic, and I can't wait to see what it grows into.
Me too.
And I'll see you. My next race is Washougal, so I'm going to come get a couple noodles out of the rig.
Definitely, yeah. I'll put your name on him.
Cool. Guys, thanks for checking out the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors. We'll see you next time.